Hello, welcome back to my garden. Today I'm going to be working on cleaning out this mess. Why? And why now in the heat of the day? Because last night I was doing other things, and if I film after or as the sun starts going down, then especially inside the greenhouse, because the shade cloth gets a little too dark. So my hand is sort of forced to do this now in the heat of the day. In case you're thinking that, oh, you got the shade cloth on, you got the vents on, open, I should say. It's got to be fairly cool in there. No, it's actually over 100 degrees right now. During the month of August, inside the greenhouse here can get close to or stay at 120 during the course of the day. That's with the shade cloth on. That's life in the South. That's why I don't use the greenhouse during the June, July, August, September, depending upon the weather, the October. But there's some things I want to do in the greenhouse, and well, it's a bit of a mess right now. And as I'm going in and out of the greenhouse to drop things off, things that should hopefully one day be in my potting shed, I'm tripping over other things. I'm not going to give the greenhouse like a thorough wash down today. That will be saved for another day, but I am going to do some straightening up in here and talk about a few other things that's going on. Hopefully I can make this a quick project. Let's get to it. One of the first things I think I'm going to do is just sort of empty out some of this stuff. And right here I've got a used bag of potting mix here. I try to keep my used bags of potting mix, not all of them, but some of them, just to use as trash cans. Trash bags. It's a good reuse, as it were. I've got a bunch of bags here for my grow bags from my potato harvests, which were some of the potatoes I got a good quantity on, but they were all very small. Other potatoes not so good on the quantity. Everything grew, nothing rotted, no fire ants. I take that as a win. We've already eaten some of the potatoes. Again, even though they're small, you can still wash them up, clean them up, and cook with them. I am going to do a fall crop of potatoes. Some people call them Christmas potatoes because they'll be ready around Christmas time. If I plant some out at the end of this month, early August, especially like the russets, I think they take a little longer to grow. So you're talking, let's say August, September, October, and then we may get a first freeze in November, depending upon which way the wind blows and the temperature and the way the planet rotates. Could possibly up to 4 months of growth there. So I will be planting russets out definitely, maybe some German butterballs. We'll see. I'm not going to do a lot. Just want to see if I can do it successfully. I've tried in the past. I think I've planted them too late, so I was never really that successful with that. So I want to try to be successful this year, maybe. Gonna try, but I gotta get these bags out of here. These will go into the garage. Now, if and when I build my potting shed, which I'm really hoping to do this winter, make it my big winter project, the grow bags probably will not go into the potting shed. I really only use them once a year, but either way, I think I'll keep storing them in the garage. Also because they're fairly bulky. We'll see. I may wind up storing them in the potting shed long term. But I think for now, these are all going to go to the garage. I did take advantage of the Amazon Prime Day sale, so I got myself some terracotta pots and a few other things. Ant killer, might have gotten ant killer, and boxes. And unfortunately, I just come out here to the greenhouse and unload and then just drop it and leave it. These boxes will probably either wind up going into the compost bin or they'll go into the trash or recycling. I started making up my own potting mix for shrubbery, trees, that kind of thing. And I still have a little left over. I won't leave that outside because if we do get a downpour, it'll just turn into mud and then it'll get filled with water. And so I'll put that back inside the green potting shed, the greenhouse when I'm done. I don't keep all of my pots in the greenhouse. Some of them, like these bigger ones that probably got shrubbery in or something, these I'll keep outside on the side. A couple of things I experimented with this year was I bought a bunch of these baking trays. I don't know what the exact size are, but they're fairly large, and as you can see, they have like a 1.5 to 2 inch lip on them. And I got them in Home Goods for like really cheap. I think it was like $10 per, maybe less. Either way, I've been using these to put my pots into, my seedling pots, so that A, I don't get the bench tops wet, because the wet will help rot the wood, and B, also I can do bottom watering. So it'll allow me to fill up the tray, and then the pot soaks up all that water into the pots themselves. But I've got this variety here, like I said, I just mentioned, this is just a kitchen baking tray. And then I bought a couple of these. These are 1020 trays, which many of you are familiar with if you're gardeners there. Normally they're plastic, almost always. But there's this company, I think they're in Florida, and this is called Sill Seedlings, hashtag not sponsored. These are made of stainless steel. They're very heavy duty. I've got 2 of them here. There we go. They're very useful, very thick material. These theoretically should last me the rest of my life, and probably, you know, if they're taken care of, whomever inherits all of my stuff, it'll last them their lifetime. I forget the cost. You'd have to go check out the website. Again, this is not sponsored, but I found these very good and useful. And if I hit the lotto, or this YouTube channel suddenly takes off and I start getting all sorts of sponsorships, well then I'll probably get more of these. One of the other trays I experimented with this year was these smaller metal trays. I got these off of Amazon. Relatively inexpensive. I think you get like a 6-pack for like $20 or something. These 2 are supposed to be made out of some sort of stainless steel. I don't know. I don't think they are. But either way, they work pretty well. Unfortunately, you can't put that many pots in there. But if you have a bunch of small pots, maybe. I think it's a better alternative to plastic long term. You guys do anything like this, or the baking trays, or anything else? You guys let me know in those comments below. Well, hopefully, as you can see, I now have this side cleared off. And this was important because I want to take up this wire mesh, and I want to put down wood slats, much as I did over on this side. This side of the greenhouse, I put down the slats. I can't remember when, I think it was last fall. But the slats gave me a more even working surface. The problem with the wire mesh is it gets concave like here in the middle. And then I've got the problem with the screws on the end. So they're always, my pots and pans are always tilting and uneven. So I think I want to do wooden slats on this side as well. I wanted to get this cleared off today because I think this is going to be a late summer, early fall project. So if I can get the slats done then and not have to worry about taking the time to clean up when I could be doing things out in the garden during the fall, because there are many things I want to do in the garden this fall, then when it comes time to start bringing everything in here for winter storage or preparing the space for winter growing, then this will be ready to go. If I have enough pieces of pallet wood that are all the same thickness, I'll use that. Otherwise, I'll probably get like 1x4s, cover the top with that, and this way it gives me a nice even surface. Now this side, I just took a few minutes off camera, straightened all this out. I stacked all my various pots together. I'll show you before and after towards the end of this video here. But I just straightened everything out. I've got of course, my potting bench. It's cleaner now. It was just filled with pots. I found a rogue pot here. That's got to come over here. That'll go there. A lot of these pots and a lot of these trays that you see here is stuff that I want to go into the potting shed so that I don't have to worry about juggling all this around when it comes time to storing plants in here in the winter, or having enough growing space in here during the springtime, sorry. Again, heat cooking my brain. So this is sorted and squared. As I mentioned earlier, this side has the slats on it. I think I did a video or talked about that at some other point, so we're not going to talk about it today. But this is what I want to replicate on the other side to give me a flatter surface to be putting all my pots on and growing stuff. So it's not a perfect clean of the greenhouse. It's not even a thorough clean. It's just straightening the place up and getting it prepared for the next stage, or the next time I'm going to use it. So as I mentioned a moment ago, all that wire mesh is going to come up. I'm going to replace it with wood slats of some sort. I'll do it in late summer or early fall, and because all throughout fall I've got a bunch of different projects going through my head, things I want to grow, things I want to transplant, things I want to move around. And with a little bit of luck and maybe hitting the lotto, I'll start the greenhouse project in the fall, and it'll probably go right on through the winter time. It'll be my big winter project. This space is ready. Do you have a space like this? Maybe it's a potting shed or just a tool shed where you just throughout the spring, maybe in the summer as you're planting and doing things out in the garden, you're just tossing stuff in there and it becomes a bit of a disaster. Or maybe it's a greenhouse that you also use like kind of as a quasi potting shed like I do. Let me know in those comments below. It is toasty, and I've been at this for a few hours now. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video. This way, hopefully, maybe it'll be something a little more interesting next time. There's a bunch of things that are going on here around the garden. There's a bunch of different projects that I want to be doing, even at this time of year when it's just blistering hot. With all that being said, I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.